Studios spent $500 million trying to make you care about these movies and failed. One bomb lost $80 million after winning an Oscar. Another had Scorsese, 11 nominations, and still got ignored. And one of them? Fans are still begging for a sequel a decade later. Here's 10 cult classics the box office tried to bury. Dredd deserved better. It had Carl Urban in full scowl mode, a stripped-down story, practical effects, and brutal action that actually worked. He plays Judge Dredd, stuck in a mega-slum with a rookie and a tower full of armed thugs. Lena Headey runs the drug empire. The film doesn't waste time. It's just violence, style, and forward momentum. But the marketing was a mess. No one showed up. It made $41 million on a $45 million budget. Over time, though, the right crowd found it. People started praising the effects, the tone, the simplicity. Now it's seen as one of the best comic adaptations of the decade, even if it died in theaters. Martin Scorsese making a kids' movie about silent film preservation sounds like a studio executive's worst nightmare, and financially, it was. Hugo was Scorsese's passion project, a tribute to early cinema, built like a family movie but aimed at film lovers. Asa Butterfield plays an orphan living inside a Paris train station, guarding a broken automaton his dad left behind. The mystery leads to Georges Méliès and to a forgotten corner of movie history. The film looks incredible. 3D used right, not just as a gimmick. It won 5 Oscars out of 11 nominations, but it never clicked with a wide audience. It cost $170 million to make, and that's not counting marketing. It made just enough to cover production, but nowhere near enough to break even. Over time, it got reevaluated. Now people call it one of Scorsese's most personal films. Still a flop, but a respected one. Warrior had everything going for it. Tom Hardy, Joel Edgerton, Nick Nolte, and real emotional weight behind the punches. 2 brothers, both desperate, both entering the same MMA tournament. Hardy's a haunted ex-Marine. Edgerton's a teacher trying to keep his house. Nolte's the alcoholic father stuck in the middle. It's a sports film, but it leans hard on family drama. The fights are brutal, but the character work is what landed with critics. It made $23.3 million on a $25 million budget. So, technically, a failure. But the fan base held on. It's now considered one of the best sports dramas of the 2010s. No sequel, no franchise, just one solid film people still talk about. Popstar tanked. Only $9.7 million at the box office on a $20 million budget. That's brutal, especially for a comedy this sharp. Andy Samberg plays a washed-up pop star trying to go solo after his boy band days. The mockumentary style works. The jokes land. The cast is stacked with A-listers. But it never found an audience in theaters. Could have been the R rating. Could have been bad timing. Either way, no one showed up. But over time, it blew up. People saw how dead-on it was about fame, ego, and celebrity nonsense. Now it's got a loyal fan base and a solid spot in cult comedy history. The Master was never built to be a hit. Too strange, too dense. Joaquin Phoenix plays a damaged World War II vet who falls under the spell of Philip Seymour Hoffman's cult leader. It's slow, cold, and hard to pin down. But that's what makes it work. The acting is top tier. Phoenix is terrifying. Hoffman is magnetic. It dives deep into identity, power, and post-war emptiness. A film about people looking for meaning and getting lost instead. It made just $28.3 million on a $37 million budget. But it didn't disappear. The praise kept growing. Now it's considered one of Paul Thomas Anderson's best. This one technically made money, $110 million on a $75 million budget, but not enough to start a franchise. Critics called it slick, but uneven. Audiences barely noticed it. Set in the Cold War, it's a buddy spy flick with Henry Cavill and Armie Hammer playing CIA and KGB agents forced to team up. The plot's forgettable, but the style isn't. Guy Ritchie brings the flash, sharp suits, vintage cars, clean action. People who caught it later started to appreciate what it was. Just a good time. Cool set pieces, a little swagger. Over the years, it built a following. Not huge, but steady. Now it sits as a quiet cult favorite in Ritchie's filmography. Under the Skin looked like sci-fi, but it played closer to horror. Scarlett Johansson drives through Scotland, targeting lonely men. No backstory, no dialogue explaining anything. Just isolation and dread. The film shows her luring them in, one by one, into this black void where they vanish. But the further she goes, the more human she starts to feel. And that's when things shift. It didn't do well. Just $7.2 million at the box office. Too quiet, too strange, too explicit, but the mood stuck with people. Now it's considered one of the most distinctive sci-fi films of the 21st century, and maybe Johansson's most daring performance. This was never going to be a broad hit. It's a shaggy detective story set in 1977 Los Angeles, built around an adult films industry conspiracy and a dead environmentalist. Russell Crowe plays a hired enforcer. Ryan Gosling plays a private eye who drinks too much and falls off things. They get dragged together into something bigger than they can handle. Shane Black's script is sharp, the comedy lands, and the chemistry works. But Warner Brothers didn't know how to sell it. It earned $50 million on a $63 million budget and quietly disappeared. Since then, it's only grown in popularity. Fans keep asking for a sequel, but so far, nothing. This one was never built for box office success. It's slow, quiet, and more interested in mood than action. Ryan Gosling plays a replicant named Kay who discovers a buried secret, a child born of a machine. That leads him to Harrison Ford's Deckard and a bigger mystery about what it means to be human. The visuals are massive. Roger Deakins won an Oscar for the cinematography. It also took home Best Visual Effects, but financially it fell short. It made $276 million, but the budget was so high it still lost money. Reportedly around $80 million. People didn't line up to see it, but those who did stuck with it, and they haven't stopped talking about it since. Universal dropped Scott Pilgrim in the middle of August with no idea who it was for. It looked like a comic book, played like a video game, and talked like indie rock Twitter before that was a thing. The plot's barely there. Scott fights his girlfriend's exes. That's it, but the style carries it. It bombed. Barely made back half its budget worldwide. But the fans kept it alive. Midnight screenings, soundtrack reissues, the animated reboot. You don't need to call it a cult classic. Everyone already knows what it is.